Hi, my name is Stephanie Garcia, and I'm going to be presenting you with my video project. I chose topic number 3, choose an interesting person, living or dead, politician, movie star, musician, author, etc., to analyze from one of the theories of personality that have been covered in the course. I chose this one because I'm really into celebrities. I happen to keep up with a lot of celebrities just because it's my guilty pleasure. I love movies. I love looking up, their life in the past, who they've dated, things like that. And it was pretty hard to find someone that I wanted to do this project on. However, I finally found someone who I actually look up to, and that is Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie is an actress, a filmmaker, a humanitarian. Her work is known to be modern, to be creative, immaculate in my opinion. I love every movie she's come out in. I've watched many of them. And she's just a beautiful person. She's a humanitarian as well. I think that's the most important part about her, is her motherhood and her humanitarian work. She's done so much for the community, for the world, really. And many envy and imitate her beauty. She seems like she's had the perfect life with an actor father in LA, coming out in movies since she was young, but her life wasn't perfect. She's had personal issues that have happened, to be more specific, interpersonal relationship issues, which brings me to the theory. Karen Horney's interpersonal psychoanalytic theory is the one I chose for Angelina Jolie. Karen Horney believed that one's childhood is vastly important in determining perception and the behavior in the future. She believed that unresolved interpersonal issues cause the most important conflicts in a person. The theory states that if there is a lack of parental love present in the relationship between the child and the parent, it can affect the child in the long run by causing either basic anxiety, which is the fear of not being loved, and basic hostility, which is anger about the lack of love, which therefore affects the way one might approach other relationships or perception of love. Although this is about interpersonal relationship, I do believe it's also about self-love. I do believe what she's been through in her past also affected her self-love. But we're actually going to just get into the interpersonal part of this situation. Angelina Jolie and her father, Jon Voight, have never had a great relationship. It started when she was young. She was a child. Her father began to have an extramarital affair and eventually divorced her mom and abandoned the family just when she was a young age. That affected her greatly, to the point where she didn't really want to reconcile her relationship with her father till adulthood is when they really reconciled that relationship. It really affected her. I mean, for so many years to go by without speaking or with an on and off relationship, it's hard to have that with your father. I've been through something similar that she's been through, but as a teen, so it's a little bit different. However, as a child, I can't imagine going through that. She never really correlated the relationship with her father with the things that she's been through, the cutting, the drug addiction. However, I believe, and when you read the theory, you kind of can apply it to this situation. She struggled with depression in her adolescence all the way up to adulthood. She began filling that void with cutting, drugs such as heroin, cocaine, and other extreme exhilarating activities. She quoted in an interview with Parade magazine in 2010, and I quote, "I was searching for something deeper, something more. I tried everything. I always felt caged, closed in, like I was punching at things that weren't there," Jolie stated in an interview with Parade magazine. So she felt caged at times when you have unforgiveness or when you have unresolved issues. You feel caged. You don't feel like you can do much, and so this is the way that she felt. I believe the neurotic solution that she used was resignation, the appeal of freedom. She wanted freedom from the cage that she was in. She demanded privacy and avoided sharing details of the painful relationship between her and her father until years later, She avoided resolving the issue on mending the broken relationship. So as I stated before, she didn't want to mend that relationship, and even it was to the point where she didn't even address it for years until later on. He would address it, but she wouldn't. Eventually, they did have closure. In 2007, after her mother died, they reconciled for a little bit. However, they fell off again, fell apart again. I believe when there isn't complete closure and, really resolve that issue, I feel like you're always going to have, be on and off. And I believe that happened. But eventually they did reach closure. When she did start having kids, I think she realized then the love that she needed, she received from her then husband, Brad Pitt, and her children. And I think that helped her mend that relationship with her father. So also with her humanitarian work, I feel like she found an outlet that wasn't something, self-harm or harmful to her and others, that she began to really put in her effort and her love into something else, which was her work for humanitarian work. So even Jon Voight has publicly spoken about them being on good terms, and how he loves his grandchildren and sees them and loves them being in his house laughing. He loves the sound of their laugh in their house. So I mean, it's something that they publicly both speak about. And the last quote that I'm going to say is the same. It's in the same interview from Parade magazine in 2010, and I quote, "He loves me," referring to Brad at the time. "The kids love me. They know all of my flaws and all of my oddities, and they accept them. And so I can feel complete." I feel like that last sentence says a lot about the situation. Although she felt caged in the past, she had this unforgiveness in her heart in the past. Now she feels complete. I feel like that's so important. And it's good. It's a battle here and there, but if she feels complete, I feel like she's able to give a better type of love to her children and to her father. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.